Hi, and welcome to Through the Lens of Tomorrow, a podcast where we explore the people, ideas, and innovations shaping what comes next. In each episode, we talk to inspiring founders, startups, and forward-thinking companies who are building the future while taking on some of the world's biggest challenges. In our second episode, we continue to explore how to build a circular textile and fashion system.
Whenever you go to another type of industry and you talk about the textile industry and you say that we have 30 to 40% overproduction, they're just horrified.
If you design it in the right way, then it's easy to repair, it's easy to remake if you want to do that. Then we can design clothing that keeps for a longer time, that lasts and can be used.
How that can age into something that gets more value with time just because you've had it for such a long time.
So, how can companies start making better products? One simple place to start is by designing things that actually last. What if we made clothes that could be passed down from one generation to the next? And what if we thought a bit more about the relationship we have with our clothes? Not just how often we buy them, but how long we keep and care for them. First up today, we hear from Lill, the designer turned innovator we heard from yesterday, who invented a way of turning denim into something as strong as wood. Twood.
I'm thinking we need to have a closer relationship to what we own. I mean, today you buy cheap things. We have the big stores. You can buy it and you can throw it. You can buy it, you can throw it. But if you have something that you really have to save to buy, or you really have a relationship, I got it from my grandma or something like that, then you tend to keep it. And that's what I think we need to do. We really need to keep our things. Well, everyone knows that now, but for me that is very important. And it also has an aesthetic when it grows old. I mean, we have to design things so they can grow old in a beautiful way, so we still care for them. I'm educated the old way. I mean, you make a sketch, you pick the material, and you make a product. But since 10 years back, I've been working with upcycling, and then you work with the material first. What do we have here? What can we do? And this is the new way of design. And it also opens up for reflection, and you don't just deliver things, because I was really good at deliver things. So I have made a personal, very strong journey to be that other kind of designer that actually cares for the products and not just put on the market. And if you choose the right material that lasts, then you will get a product that lasts. And then, of course, you don't have to put it just because of the price. You have to actually consider other things.
Some forward-thinking fashion companies are already designing with longevity in mind. Here is Hördegårdh and Lill Sjöberg from the innovation team at Lindex, a Gothenburg-based international clothing company. They explain how Lindex are doing this.
The core business design team, they work with longevity in mind and also design for e-commerce. Because for the kids wear, you know that the kids growing out the clothes and then you want them to be used again and again. So you have to think about that already in the design phase. And Lindex design all the clothes by themselves here in Gothenburg. So we are our own supplier, so it's very good to get the feedback loop. Also that we have every information here, and it's disappeared as well. So the prints disappear.
So that's the direct feedback, what happens.
And with the baby, it's really quite a quick loop that you grow out it for a couple of months and then you would like to do something about it.
For Gothenburg-based Nudie jeans, creating tomorrow's vintage is a fundamental part of their design process and central to their brand. Nudie jeans have long-held circular aspirations and even opened their first repair shop in London all the way back in 2012. Gelsi from Nudie jeans explains more.
Designing an identity, I guess that's what all clothing or fashion brands are sort of doing, like selling some sort of identity with, or like how you can shape your identity with the clothing, but with products which are more durable. And I guess like jeans in that sort of sense is a great example, but the same approach you have to jeans, or when it comes to like the affectional like possibilities of that, how products age with time, like a leather jacket or just like a worker jacket, or also a printed t-shirt, really, like how that can age into something that gets more value with time just because you've had it for such a long time. That resulted in like the slogan of create tomorrow's vintage, which we're working a lot towards now. And it's not a new thing. It's really just like the heritage and roots of Nudie, really, but just maybe getting back to that even more. I think there are different dimensions in it, of course, like the classical, like just traditional quality is of course one big aspect, like make a durable product, which sometimes is harder if it's like a more delicate product in itself.
It's good to hear from some larger companies driving positive change. Clothes don't just have to be designed for longevity though. They need to be designed for recycling too. Ellen from Science Park Borås at the University of Borås explains more.
To see, can you create a garment in monomaterial? Like everything is made from one material. The hang tags, the sewing thread, all the trims, everything, so that it can easily be disassembled but also easily recycled because everything is the same material. Because it's like a nasty habit that has been driven by fashion and trends, that is, if you look at the wash label or care label in some of the clothes, it's like this long with so many different materials, and that's super difficult to recycle because there are so many different materials that it becomes impossible.
It's clear there are lots of moving parts when it comes to building a circular textile and fashion system. Next, we turn to one of the biggest and most important challenges: overproduction. If we are serious about circular fashion, this is an issue we simply can't ignore.
Whenever you go to another type of industry and you talk about the textile industry and you say that we have 30 to 40% overproduction, they're just horrified because there is no other industry that would allow that, because that would make them not financially sustainable. They wouldn't have a business if they had that much overproduction. Their aim is to have zero overproduction, and also a lot of other industries work with high value raw materials, so they can't afford to scrap or have waste. Everything is taken care of because it's high value. And somewhere along the way, our relationship to clothes and textiles have changed so that we don't put any value into them anymore.
Now we hear from Marie Johnson, the founder of Rekotex, a Borås-based startup that created a solution for surplus textiles. One of the direct consequences of having a big difference between orders and productions.
What I was thinking about when starting this was to be the startup, like a window where you could see what is leftovers in other producers' storage shelves. So you could use that in the first case before you start a production of virgin fibers. I studied at the Swedish School of Textiles, and when being out in the business for many years, I had a frustration, and I saw this problem with the totally new rolls stored in the storage shelves. And this is when a company, they need to order the fabrics long before the collection should go out in the stores. And also the fabric producers, they often require quite big quantities. It's ready with the collections. They often end up with, it can be thousands of meters. You maybe need to buy 3,000 meters. So it can be ended up with thousands of meters. At the same time, I saw the problem smaller companies had, or companies that wanted to make more unique collections, that it was almost impossible to find fabrics in 100, 200, 300 meters. So it was two different problems that I saw one solution on. And I had a frustration that this fine resources wasn't taken care of in a good manner. So That's why I started Rekotex.
And how much fabric have you saved?
Many miles, I can say. It's thousands and thousands of meters. It's a lot because it can be really much lying there. Here you can see it's also possible to make totally different products. This is like underwear laces that are used for sewing dresses. And it's also jacquard weave fabric that was from start, it was dresses for a leading brand. And now it has become lamps for an interior brand. So that's also a nice twist when they can do something totally different. I was thinking about helping like smaller companies or companies that wanted from start. I was thinking in this way, but we also work with companies that has quite big quantities in their collections. Stockholm-based company called Jerf Avenue, an influencer brand that made blazers and trousers, and it was a big quantity they made. This big quantity was stocked in a storage shelf here in Sweden. It was because production has been cancelled. It took longer time to make the production, and then buying company needed to cancel the order, and then they have been stocked with these 5,000 meters. So there Jerf Avenue could make trousers and blazers from these fabrics. They also made remake projects with dresses from earlier collections, and they just added some laces from an underwear brand. And when I was thinking about these smaller brands to buy this, but we also have big brands that want to do this more unique collection, and also a good thing with it is that you can work in season. You can see what you need in the shops, just it goes quick because it's already produced. Otherwise in the fashion business it's a long lead time. You maybe order the fabrics 1.5 years before you should use it, but here it's just lying there and you can work quick and do the smaller collections.
Maria has been running Rekotex for nearly 10 years now, so she really has been at the forefront championing a circular business model in the textile system.
I think I had run the business for maybe 2 years before I heard someone talking about circular business models. So yeah, we were kind of a pioneer to do this.
Evelina and Lovisa from the microfactory XV Production in Borås explain why it's so important to take care of the material we have now.
Our mission has really become to create this system that we can pass on.
So we worked a lot with Remake now, but we don't think that it's the solution on everything, but it's a way that to take care of waste and the material that we have now. But of course we are very interested to find other ways, because it's not one way to do it, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think another aspect of what our mission is to make production more transparent and pass on the craft work and the knowledge about how to create garment. So that is also very important for us.
And overproduction isn't just about what happens to unused or leftover fabrics, as Ellen explains when she takes us on a tour of the dew tank at Borås Science Park.
We wanted to see if we could find solutions together to use technology that's already used in the automation industry and other types of industry and apply them to the textile industry, mainly the production, to see if we could use some of their solutions and adapt them to the textile industry and the fashion industry to get a more circular business model, but mainly reduce the number of surplus garments, both those types of garments that have never been worn or never been sold, but also all other garments that are collected by, for example, the different types of charities that we have in Sweden that never get sold in their stores, because they get a lot. They receive more clothes from people who make donations than they are able to sell in their stores. So that's what we were doing. So this machine is like a test version of a microfactory. So basically what we can do here is that we can take garments that have been discarded, for example, through sorting in a charity shop, and they have deemed them not sellable because maybe some kind of defect, like a hole or a stain or something that's broken. And we developed an AI that can detect these types of different types of defects on a garment. And it might sound very innovative, but really it's not. We've just used the same technology that, for example, iPhone uses to recognize your face in a picture. So instead of training it on faces, we've trained it on stains and holes. So microfactories was about taking stuff that already exists, but turn it into a textile context or fashion context. This microfactory can now process garments, so you load the garments onto the conveyor belt and it takes it to this photo station, which is over here, where it's photographed both for detailing, like e-commerce site, but also there are 4 cameras that takes a picture of the garment for the AI. And the AI then needs a few seconds to just determine, okay, what kind of defect is this? Is it a stain? Is it a rip? Is it a tear? Is it a hole? And then it will send it to the correct station for either mending or if it needs some kind of like design upgrade. Because there are repairs that can be made that is very easily done, but there's also, which probably will add more value to the product, is a design upgrade. So if you have a stain, for example, you can cover it up by embroidery or a print or other types of techniques. So the AI then sends the garment to the correct operation station, which we have. We have 4 here. So this was like a test, so that's what we do, just to test stuff. Everything that a science park does, all the projects are always together with the industry themselves, so that we don't do anything that they don't need. We want to cater to their needs, and in some respects it's also letting them know what their needs are because they are not in that mindset yet. So that could, for example, be a workshop where you just basically throw everything that they know up in the air, let it fall down and see how it lands, and then start to think about things differently. So it's just introducing a different kind of mindset. And I know that, Anett, you're working on another project that has to do with the same kind of garments.
It's one of the good parts with this area, that we also get to share results between projects. That's where the magic happens, when you can take one result from one project and then build on that results in the next project.
Technology has a big role to play in building a circular textile and fashion system. Let's hear a few examples that are already making that happen. Let's start with Ellen at the Dew Tank.
This is a shirt, just a traditional work shirt, but it's printed with technology made from a startup called Vivideye. And what they've developed is a printing paste or a recipe for the color, which means that you can remove this without leaving any stains, or you can't be seen on the garment that there's been a print there, which leaves, for example, when it comes to event clothes or workwear or whatever type of garments that are just meant to be used for a short period of time, if you can remove company logos or for example, football shirts for children, there's so many, all the teams of football should have their own with their names on, but kids grow, and so there's a lot of surplus there. If all of those prints with the logos of sponsors and names could be removed, then those football shirts could be used again for the next team, and so on. So this is a very successful project, and this collection of workwear now kind of circulates, which means that if, for example, you were to do an event, you could actually hire the workwear and still get your logo printed on them or the event name printed on them and then removed.
And Emil from Rapparel explains more about how technology can help, but also one of the challenges of a life cycle assessment or an LCA.
An LCA is good and we're doing it, but an LCA meets the CO2 emission from cradle to grave. Okay, our products doesn't have a cradle, because it used to be car tires. So how do you measure that cradle? And grave, our things doesn't have necessarily a grave. For instance, this swim shorts that we made for Paternoster Resort outside Gothenburg. Inside there is a QR code, so when you are tired of the shorts in 15 or 20 years, you can scan the code. You can see exactly what's inside, where the different items are from, and you also get an address to our website, so that given that we're afloat in 15 years, obviously, but this is what we can do today. And you can send us an email, get an envelope, and we'll take care of the recycling process, no matter if it's going to textile recycling, chemical recycling, or if we have to shred it and use it as furniture stopping, for instance.
What if clothes we usually throw away could actually be sold rather than exporting discarded garments to landfill? This idea keeps them in Sweden and brings them back to life in the shop, selling pieces most people thought couldn't be sold.
I'm going to show you the lab store that we're working on. We work together with a charity organization. They have their own stores where they sell garments that they sort out from the collected textiles, but also the goods that they're not able to sell. They export to other countries today, but they've said that we want to stop the export. We want to make sure that we can use the garments in Sweden instead. So what we did was that we sorted 5 tons of their discarded materials, and we took out some clothing for the brands that we have in the project. So we took all their clothing and we've gone through that together with them and looking to see if they can sell it as secondhand products. But also we took out the best things from the 5 tons and we created a store here. So all these garments that we have in this store is from the export fraction. So these are clothing that should have been exported to other countries. And a lot of people say that what we export is just garbage. That's nothing that we can use, and we want to show that it is good quality and it can be used in Sweden. So with this, we will try to get in contact with the different secondhand stores that mainly sell on commission today, open up their eyes that there might be a different business possibility to actually buy clothing from charity organization and sell in their stores.
And I'm also thinking it's been also quite an eye-opener for the brands that were part of this project, because they're only working in the end where new garments are created. They don't really see what happens to the garments once the customer is through with them and hand them into charity. So they don't know the quality, like how does it wear and tear, for example, but also the revelation of seeing the amount of clothes. It's easy when you're sat in an office and you're maybe doing like a sketch on your computer for a new garment, and you have the buyer who like places an order and they put in numbers in their system. They might have become a bit blind to those numbers after a certain amount of years, but also to see this is it. This is like what ends up on the other end of a linear business model in fashion.
Yeah, so it gives very good input also how to design clothing. Because if you design it in the right way, then it's easy to repair, it's easy to remake if you want to do that. Then we can design clothing that keeps for a longer time, that lasts and can be used in a longer time than we use today, because usually now we use our clothing not that many times actually. A lot of the things that get exported get taken care of in a good way. But the thing is, once you export it, you lose control. So you don't really know how much is used in a good way and how much ends up on the beach in Ghana. You lose control, and that's the main thing, I think.
We've talked about designing clothes to last, about recycling, about the role technology can play, and even about selling clothes people once thought couldn't be sold. But what about uplifting clothes to give them a new lease of life through secondhand? Let's speak to Ida and Bella from Lindex again.
We talked about here in the beginning the different things to do with what we call disregarded garments, the garments that we don't reward our customer for because they are miscolored or have some stains on it, or it could be a hole.
A really low secondhand value.
Yeah, so we try to level up these garments, to recondition the garments to get a higher value again. That's another test with the remake. If there are holes on it, you can try to repair it or you can do some remake. We would say that it's very funny to do the remake things and see what designers could do with the garments. But still there are high costs to get the garments with first of all matching the garments and cutting and sewing.
We can show just one example which came here. This garment has been dyed as the pink one, but we can see that something has happened on the back side. They have become, on the print, has been green and some print is lost. So this is something...
Yeah, it wasn't green
in the beginning. No, it was more, this one I think is browner, the original. And as you can see, this is also brown. So something could be something, but it's also interesting for the designers to see and understand what could happen if we want to refresh the garments and when they come in.
We really hope you've enjoyed the second episode through the lens of tomorrow as much as we did making it. Today we have looked at the importance of designing for longevity and for recycling. And we have talked about overproduction and how digitalization and technology can reduce overproduction and play a key role in creating a circular textile system. We've also talked about uplifting clothes and selling clothes that people didn't think it was possible to sell. The key for me was hearing the inspiring stories and founders and people creating real change in the industry. In the next episode, you'll hear the importance of changing our perception of buying clothes, and the lack of industry knowledge of what people do with their clothes, and the mindset needed to enable the change, and much more.
Came out of the customer problem that many of our customers has a full wardrobe but nothing to wear.
You need to turn the design process the other way around and look, okay, this is what we can get. What can we do out from this?
The aim is to design a new sustainable system because the system is broke.
If you like this podcast, please do subscribe for free. This is the easiest way of finding out when the next episode of Through the Lens of Tomorrow is out. This podcast is made by Move to Gothenburg, an initiative run by the West Sweden Chamber of Commerce and co-founded by the European Union, Region Västra Götaland, and several companies, universities, and public organizations in the region.